Whether you are new to the Pokemon trading card game or you're an experienced veteran, League Battle Decks are some of the best investments you can make. For example, this Mew VMAX League Battle Deck is right out of the box one of the best decks in the game, and with a couple of adjustments, this is going to be like the number 2 deck in the game, just short of Lugia, and Lugia is projected to fall after rotation, so this could be the best deck in the game yet again, as this has dominated the format for many months now. And you can just go to a store and pick up this box, and it's awesome, and I highly recommend it. But with that out, I wanted to talk about like what's next for the League Battle Deck series. I'm Jet from inthirdperson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's discuss the future of League Battle Decks. Now, before we get deep into this discussion, I do need to preface this. I don't have any sort of insider information. This is not news. This is tinfoil hat speculation on my part as someone who is an avid fan and collector of League Battle Decks. All right, so we're going to look at what information is publicly out there, what we've seen, and make some best guesses on what's happening next. And I think that there are enough signs to predict how many League Battle Decks are coming out in 2023. For example, we can go and look at the first round of League Battle Decks, which was the Pikachu and Zekrom and the Zacian one. So there were 2 League Battle Decks that came out in 2020. In 2021, we had the Inteleon League Battle Deck, which came out in May, and the Urshifu League Battle Decks, Rapid Strike and Single Strike, that came out in 2021. So that's 3. And then in 2022, we got the Calyrex League Battle Decks, Shadow Rider and Ice Rider, as well as Mew VMAX. So we got 2 years in a row, we got 3 League Battle Decks. I suspect that based on the patterns, we're probably going to get 3 League Battle Decks, possibly 4. I do think that these League Battle Decks are great. I would love to see more League Battle Decks, but based on the patterns right now, I would suspect a maximum of 2 drops with 1 to 2 decks coming out, like 1 in the /spring and summertime, one drop in the fall/winter. I think at most we will see 4 League Battle Decks in 2023, but the money's on 3. Now, what League Battle Decks will we see? I think based on the existing archetypes, there are some pretty good contenders for that throne. I have ranked these based on what I think is the likelihood of them getting a League Battle Deck. I think Arceus is probably my favorite because it's a solid Pokemon with an amazing ability, and it pairs well with so many different Pokemon Vs. You can just slap Arceus into pretty much any Pokemon V deck and make it better. And because of that, I think it's a pretty safe bet that we would get one of these. Another one that I think is a favorite, Lugia. Lugia is a fan favorite Pokemon. It's incredibly strong. I do think there are a lot of questions about the power level of Lugia post-rotation, but I still think Lugia is going to be good post-rotation. It's still going to be a popular Pokemon. It's still one that largely can exist based on the way that they build League Battle Decks, where level 2s have 4 ultra rares and level 3s have 6. You can make this a level 2 or a level 3 deck, and it would probably be fine. So those would be my 2 contenders if there were going to be 2. Some other ones that I think are in the mix, Palkia V-Star. Palkia is a popular Pokemon. It's had quite the run of dominance in 2021. However, without shady dealings, I'm not sure what Palkia looks like next year. We've also got Zoroark V-Star. This is a popular deck. I know in competitive play, there are a number of naysayers that don't like this deck, but this deck is very popular online and in tournaments, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was at least in the mix for a League Battle Deck spot. We also have to think about Giratina V-Star, very strong Pokemon. You can run it with just the Vs and V-Stars, and then you throw in a bunch of Lost Zone cards, which are not the rarest cards in the world, However, with Scoop Up Net rotating out, I do question how strong a Lost Zone Giratina build would be. Outside chance here, Dialga, V-Star, probably not, but you can. Dialga is a decently popular Pokemon. You can run it with the Celebrations Mew engine. You could run it with the new Kling Clang. You could run it with the Magnezone. So there are options here where it could. My money would be on Arceus and Lugia, with those other ones being an outside shot. And if they were to draw from like this 2021 era, not 2021, 2022 era of decks, I think that they would pull these during the spring and summer. So Arceus, Lugia, or whatever this is, I think this focus on Pokemon V is going to be the next drop. Now, for the winter drop, I think this is where things get spicy. They could draw from a lot of different Pokemon V, from Lugia, Palkia, and so on. But I have a sneaking suspicion that the fall/winter decks are going to be Scarlet and Violet. And I also wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being these two Pokemon, Koraidon and Miraidon, kind of the feature Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. By the way, as of this recording, I'm in the middle of playing Pokemon Scarlet right now. Absolutely love it. And with these two Pokemon ushering in the new era of Scarlet and Violet, I would not be surprised that, one, these cards are very good, and two, that if you're going to release League Battle decks for popular and strong Pokemon, I wouldn't be surprised if 2 out of the 3 decks that we get next year are Koraidon and Miraidon. That's my guess. So I think that, and there's precedent for this as well, right? The Pikachu one, this was the transition year 2020, where we went from Pokemon Sun and Moon to Sword and Shield. The first round of League Battle decks was strictly Sun and Moon cards, and then the winter drop was the introduction of Pokemon V with Zacian V, and yet ADP was there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the fall and winter one kind of follow that same pattern and we move straight into Scarlet and Violet decks. Now, what that probably means is during the spring drop, we're going to get 1 to 2 Pokemon V-based League Battle decks, and I think there will be a number of decks that get left out in the cold. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if no one was really sad. Who knows where the meta is going to be by then? But I do suspect that at the very least, one of these Pokemon V-Star/V, I think they're all V-Stars, will get a spot in the spring 2023 League Battle decks. And then the last thing I wanted to, this is wishful thinking on my part, but I really want to see level 2 League Battle decks go away. I do think that there is room for the level 1 decks. They are meant to be very introductory products to help kids and brand new players play the game. But in a world where level 3 decks exist, such as the Ice Rider and the Shadow Rider one, which are pretty much competitive right out of the box, and then the Mew League Battle deck, which is pretty competitive out of the box with only a handful of tweaks really required, I really don't like this level 2, where you get some good cards, but then like half the deck isn't quite good enough, and you really need to make a lot of adjustments in order to make these competitively viable. I bought both Urshifu League Battle decks, and they're still not done. I wasn't able to get the cards in time before they became irrelevant. I guess Rapid Strike Urshifu could find its way back into the meta in this last stretch before Shady Dealings goes away, but these just feel like a weird half step where no one's really happy because they're not pre-built enough, or they're maybe a little too advanced for new players. So I would love to see them just go away from level 2 entirely and just stick with level 1 or level 3. All right, those are my thoughts and speculations for the future of Pokemon TCG League Battle decks. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think the future of League Battle decks are. I would love to see more League Battle decks. Yeah, that's the biggest one. I was gonna like rhyme off a whole list, but no, the biggest thing is I would love to see more pre-made decks where someone who's interested in getting into the game can just buy one pretty good product and just go, because building a good deck in the Pokemon trading card game is ridiculously difficult if you don't know what you're doing and you're just getting into it, having to source out all the singles or looking at deck lists. Like, no, like just let me go to a store and buy a box that has a bunch of good cards and let me play. And I think that they really hit the nail on the head with the Calyrex League Battle decks and with the Mew League Battle deck, and I want to see more of that. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. And before we go, some quick plugs. You can find me on all of the things: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at In Third Person. You can find me on Twitch at In Third Person, where I stream the Pokemon trading card game every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Would love to see you there, answer any questions you may have, and check out the website, inthirdperson.com, for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. So, until the next one, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.